Contractors Secret Weapon weekly podcast with your hosts, Dave Negri. This program is dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, roof cleaners, and business owners in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over the competition. This program supplies you with information that the competition doesn't even know exists. This session brought to you by ContractorsSecretWeapon.com.
Hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractors Secret Weapon, and today I have a really neat and exciting guest for you today. He is known as the Human Accelerator Hacker. His name is Paul Reed, and Paul is a lifelong entrepreneur and personal breakthrough coach. After several decades in sales, a random meeting with an NLP master trainer changed the path of his life, and the series of changes that took place afterward motivated Paul to become a certified in NLP and launched his coaching and practice. Now, Paul helps entrepreneurs and business leaders overcome personal blocks with limiting beliefs so they can reach their vision. He's used these techniques in his own life to grow his own network marketing company with over 1,000 active members and growing. Before we get into the conversation with you, I just want to do a shout out to our sponsors who help promote Contractor Secret Weapon and just some of the things that they have in store for you, our listeners. Hey, is your phone ringing enough? Do you want it to ring more with highly motivated and qualified buyers that contact you, the contractor, directly? No more waiting for the phone to ring. Just answer that phone. Best Home Services leads are dedicated to making your phone ring with motivated buyers that call you directly. There's no obligation to talk with them. Just go to ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money. Fill out the form to secure your discount on the setup fee. Do it today. This special will not last forever. Check them out at ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money.
Running a small business is no easy task, and I should know because I had a service company for almost 10 years. I am the founder of a software called Radius Bomb, and it's unbelievable. And for all the listeners of Contractor Secret Weapon, we have a special offer for you to check out. If you want to send hyper-targeted, laser-focused, super personalized postcards to your exact prospects using a map while sitting in your underwear, then go to ContractorSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb, and we'll give you your first 100 postcards for free. Just go to ContractorSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb.
Hey, Paul, it is so good to have you on the show today. There are things, like I said before, there are two things that I really love talking about, and one is how to make more profit, how to keep my money, and mindset. And I know that going over all your stuff, that mindset and, of course, being the Human Accelerator Hacker is just right up your alley that you can share with our listeners today. So thanks for being with us.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dave. I'm so grateful to be here. I know we've been back and forth a little bit trying to make this happen, but looking for a really great, fun time. And, I talk to business owners. I talk to influencers. I talk to leaders all the time that come to me and say, I am stuck. I get to a certain level and I cannot break away from it. I cannot get any farther. I'm just spinning my wheels. And I'm sure that your audience really at one time or another, or even now, gets in this situation where they keep banging against this ceiling and can't get any farther. And that's what I help people do. Get past that breaking point so that they can accelerate. So what I do is I help them hack whatever it is that's keeping them back.
That's really awesome, because I know in my own life, in a lot of things that I've done is, like we talked a little bit earlier, I was at a seminar and this was like the guy was talking to me. Do you feel like you're driving down the road with one foot on the gas pedal and one foot on the brake and you're going nowhere as fast? And I'm going, well, that's me sometimes. I do get in my own way. So what are some of the underlying factors that keep us getting in our own way, do you think?
Well, some of it can be history.
Okay.
To give you an example, I had a client who she was very successful as a real estate developer, but when she started a family, she wanted to stay at home, so she became an online marketer. And she kept getting to X number of dollars a year. And she came to me and she said, your job is to get me to $1 million a year. And I said, okay, let's make that happen. And when we were digging in some of the things that we were working on in her past, it was revealed that when she was 13 years old, she had been introduced to Girl Scouts, right?
Okay.
Great leadership organization. She was, grew up not poor, but not, her family lived paycheck to paycheck. But she was 13 years old, came to this first Girl Scout meeting, loved it and everything, but what she had done was she had looked at all these 16-year-old girls, 17-year-old girls who were at this level, and she told herself, I could never get there.
Oh, wow.
And so at 50 years old, she's still being affected by this. 50 years old, still being stuck.
So she actually programmed herself way back then, huh?
Absolutely. And that's how the unconscious mind works. Not to dig down into Freud and Jung and those older psychiatrists and psychologists, but the unconscious mind Freud described as the vast reservoir that supplies the fountain of our thinking. Okay, so you've got all of these thoughts going on in the background, all this huge reservoir of mental energy and stuff going on. And then there's the thought that you're holding right now. And so for Vanessa, my client, she had been stuck every point in her life. She'd always been excellent. She'd always been a great worker, but she never got past middle management or, kind of the top 40% in selling. She did okay, but she never could break out. And so once we worked on that and just worked on, okay, the problem is you set a visualization when you were 13 years old and you haven't reprogrammed that.
Yeah. So
we worked in session, and in 20 minutes we completely changed that. And she is on task this year. She's already cracked $600,000 in income this year. She's never been over 250. This happened in March, and it's been an amazing story because we were able to convince what's going on in that vast reservoir that she does not only can do it, but deserves it.
Ah, that's the key, isn't it? Deserving it.
Absolutely.
Letting yourself,
absolutely.
Yeah. Because I wonder how many guys, or how many, not just guys, but when I say guys, women too, business owners just have to give themselves permission to succeed.
Oh, it is so important to have that little moment where you go, I am enough. I do deserve this. And if you've been stuck in that programming where you think I can't be better than my parents because I respect them so much, you're not doing all of the people in your ancestry any favors. You're not honoring them by not being the most excellent that you can be. And there are very simple, short techniques that you can work with someone like me on to make that huge difference.
Wow, that's amazing. Because, when you said about, respecting your parents and not wanting to do, make more than them or whatever, and I'm going, my mind's going, that's crazy.
I know it.
But because, as this is kind of funny, because I was having a conversation with my dad not too long ago, and we were talking about, he's been retired 26 years, and
wow.
And he has a nice pension from the state, and I tell him, hey, be thankful because that they haven't come out and put a contract on you for living longer than you actually work.
They didn't expect him to have to write those checks for that long.
For that long, and he's pretty healthy, So if he's 83, if he lives as long as his mom did, he'll die at 105. So they're losing on that one. But
he's going to collect longer than he worked, right?
yeah, I know. So we were having that conversation the other day, and it was similar to that a little. And he goes, when I die, all this stuff. And I said, listen, I just want you to know that I'll take everything you want to give me, but I've never expected anything more than I already have. And I'm already doing really good, so we don't have to worry about that. So,
But, a lot of people can't, and it's a hard concept for people to grasp. Let me do a little exercise for your listeners.
Sure.
The little visualization that will convince them that they absolutely can change how they feel, how their mindset is, and how they can portray themselves to the world. We're going to call this the unconscious hello. All right. So I want you to put your little visualization hat, and if your listeners want to close their eyes, if you're driving, don't do that. But close. But I want you to visualize this. Okay, you're walking down a city street. You've got a straight, 10-block walk downtown, but you're at the edge of it. It's a little residential area, little shops and stuff, and you're just walking. And it's just natural to look off in the distance. We don't want to make eye contact with anybody, so we're just looking off in the distance, right? And I'm going a block after a block after block, and then off in the distance, maybe 3 or 4 blocks, I see somebody that just captures my sight, right? You follow me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So I see that person, and you think about, wow, that person down there reminds me of somebody I knew 15, 20, 25 years ago that was very special to me. Just reminds you of somebody really great. Okay. And you start thinking about some of those memories, and this is completely random. You're in an unfamiliar place where there's no possible way you would meet that person. Right. So it's just, they remind me of somebody cool that I, really hung out with or loved or had a great friendship with, hadn't seen in a long, long time. And as you're and they're walking towards you, so you see them off in the distance, and y'all are getting closer and closer and closer together. You're about 2 blocks away now, and you go, man, that person really looks like this person. That really looks like Pat, my best friend in high school. Man, we had so many great adventures, and I'm surprised we didn't die. But how fabulous it would be, and how amazing a coincidence it would be if I saw Pat today. So, and we're getting closer and closer, and all of a sudden you come to the realization that Pat is standing in front of you. Wow! Holy mess, Pat. It's been so forever since I've seen you. Oh gosh, I am so thrilled. This is awesome. God, remember the time that we climbed up the billboard and tore those flags down? I still got one of those flags that I had way back when, and we had such a great adventure. Imagine how you're feeling right now for the person that's your Pat. Do you think that you can recreate that moment anytime that any of your contractor or business owners are about to meet a client?
Oh, absolutely. You should be able to.
You absolutely can reconstitute that. So I'll give your listeners an exercise, okay? For the rest of today, after you listen to this podcast, I want you to reconstitute that meeting with your great friend with everyone you meet. You don't have to say anything, but I want you to think about that when you're going to make eye contact with anybody. And I promise you, your results will be incredible.
Oh, yeah, because it's like you're meeting a new person, but you're not really, because you're reacquainting yourself and you have those feelings and emotions coming through your voice and everything. So it's got to be an awesome meeting.
Yeah, and that's the foundation of rapport. Because, Dave, rapport, if you're dealing with a customer, a client, a prospect, or even someone at you're trying to get something out of, like at a hotel or, the front desk, or you're at Walmart or whatever it is, you want to establish rapport, because in every essence of great communication, rapport is the key.
Yeah.
Okay. And if your desired outcome, and in order for you to get those feelings, and your desired outcome is to establish rapport with any person at any moment, at any time, man, how awesome would it be for your general mood if you could just grab that anytime you wanted?
That gets me to thinking about, the whole sales process. And if you have instant rapport going in, the sales process is almost nil, isn't it?
It is, and we can talk about closing, and we can talk about pre-closing and all of that stuff, but it's that connection that makes the huge difference. And we'll talk here in just a moment about communication. Yeah. But I want to give you a concept. People that are like each other. And if that person likes you because you are in control of your internal state, your results are going to be so much better.
That's why, and I know a lot of people aren't going to really know what I'm talking about. I know you will. This is why about mirroring sometimes just helps. When you're trying to build rapport.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And and this is not 100% true, but there have been some studies out, and there's arguments back and forth. But in NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming circles, we talk about communication as being 7% words, only 7. Now you're not going to go to an Italian movie with no subtitles and understand everything that's going on. But when you're in communication with someone in your culture that you could have rapport with, communication is only 7% words. It's 38% tonality and 55% physiology.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So if you're able to change your physiology, you change your internal state, you decide that you're going to be the one that's going to have that meeting with Pat just before you meet your prospect or your client, how do you think that's going to change the outcome of your pitch?
Oh, it's if you know that. This is kind of, while you're saying that, I have this picture of this salesman. I know he works for a roofing company. He's their highest producer.
Right.
And Jason is the type of guy that can walk in and grab instant rapport. And I'm laughing on the inside while you're saying this because it doesn't even matter what you look like or how you dress to a sense. He dresses professional but casual. But
sure.
That dude has a goatee that is braided. But he knows how to build instant rapport the minute he walks in the door, which makes him, their best salesman. I said, you need to have Jason teach all your other people how he does the instant rapport. They'll all be the same.
Yeah.
If he knew what he was doing, but he may not have been, trained to do this. But this is rapport is a process really of responsiveness. And the major, you establish it by matching and mirroring your client. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not talking mocking or mimicking, but if you are using similar gestures, similar tone of voice, similar posture, similar expressions, these and a true master will even match and mirror facial expressions, the rate at which you blink. Wow.
Match breathing. One of the things that you often see people do is when they're trying to talk to an audience, they may say, okay, everybody, just take a breath. Come on, follow me. And the reason is because you get the entire audience to match you. And that's an instant connection, and in your tonality, it's not, in your voice, You want to match your tone, the pitch of your voice, the tempo, the speed at which someone is talking, okay? The quality of speech, whether they're using exact, crisp words or a little bit of, edginess or a little bit of dialect or, you're in California, aren't you?
No, I'm in Florida.
Florida. So, some people may be listening and say, I have a Southern drawl. Well, I kind of feel like I have a pretty medium drawl. But if I really need to, I can talk like this if I have to.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm not mocking my client, but I can move from what my normal voice is more towards them and have those expressions or use those phrases or like that.
I would imagine the speed helps too. The speed of their talking. If you can mimic
absolutely.
Because there's nothing worse than a Southerner trying to talk to a Northerner.
Yeah, and words are, the words are some of the key words that someone uses. You want to match and mirror those back to them.
Okay.
So if something is critical because they keep repeating that, you want to do that as well. Okay.
Yeah, because it sort of like reinforces it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
All of that stuff is important. And if you really want to dig deeper, it's not really appropriate for this conversation today because we'll run out of time.
Right.
But, if people are using different types of words or groups that are visual or audio or sound words or thinking words about their proposition, you want to match that as well. That's a little bit harder technique to do, but all of these things combined will give your audience an opportunity to. Dave, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, thought I had the phone ring. So,
no.
But all this will give your audience an opportunity to step back and think about it. Because how many times will your contractors, your business owners, your leaders talk about themselves and what their company can do?
Yeah, too much.
Too often. We can do this, we can do that, we'll show you this, we'll show you that. How about when I've established rapport, let's get your client to visualize the result of your service or your product for them.
Wow. This has really been this is really cool about the whole structure of the mirroring. And I want to go back for just a moment on us getting out of our own way.
Mm-hmm.
That we started off with, and we've probably got about 5 or 6 minutes or so.
Okay.
What are some of the I'm trying to think of the right word to use. Some of the flags, let's say, that you find most of your clients are coming up with that they know when they're stuck and they know they need help. I mean, there's a lot of times we know we're stuck, and sometimes we're just not smart enough to say I need help, but that's another problem altogether.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a simple concept like towards and away. Mm-hmm. All right. We talked a little bit about my client Vanessa who had changed, who had set something at 13 years old. Well, we all are a product of our parents. We talked about a little bit about that. And let's say you decide at 16, 17, whatever years old, that you're not going to be poor. Okay? Right. A lot of people may say, I'm going to be rich. But what they really are saying inside their head is, I'm not going to be poor. What happens when you're not poor anymore? Of your vision, you're looking away from poverty.
Wow. I mean, that's a very interesting question.
Because I deal with a lot of stuck clients.
Yeah.
And what they what they may say to themselves is, I'm not poor, but I can't move forward. And kind of the theme of this show is getting unstuck.
Yeah.
Well, think about and think visually. You're looking away from, you're still focused on poverty, right? Because you're looking away from poverty, but you're still facing poverty in the visualization in your mind, right?
Yeah, in reality, it's all about poverty.
Yeah, everything is about poverty. So you'll never escape it until you turn away towards prosperity. And it's a simple mind shift of just imagine yourself, you're standing in the middle, you're standing in this ring of power, okay? Let's imagine a ring of power down on the ground, all right? And I am looking back to my past, I'm looking at poverty, I am away from poverty, but I'm still focused on poverty.
Yeah.
So I want you to take yourself, doing a military about face, and I want you to turn your whole inner self towards prosperity and move towards that. Sometimes just a simple visualization like that can make all of the difference, because now you're focusing on moving towards where you're going instead of away from where you've been.
Wow, that's pretty profound. I mean, I never really thought about it like that, but yeah, when you're saying I'm not, I don't want to be poor, you're not thinking about I want to succeed. You're just thinking about this is where I don't want to be.
Exactly.
So therefore, that's really all you're focused on.
Exactly. And so many people get stuck in that one little spot.
Wow.
And they're working and they're grinding and they're killing it and they're working 3 jobs and they're still stuck in the same place.
Right. And they don't know why.
And they don't know why.
Yeah.
And it's costing them their future.
And it's very interesting. I you'll relate to this. Last night, my wife had someone come over that wanted to learn how to dress business-wise, because she's in. Mm-hmm. So my wife said, "Sure." She's because she was not happy with. Matter of fact, she said her kids make fun of her for the way she dresses. Okay, but that was so. When my wife started talking with her, she goes, okay, I understand what you want, but let me ask you about your past. Why? How did your mother dress you? How did your mother dress? How did because what went on before that for you to move into I just want to dress better. That's not really the whole.
Absolutely.
We need to start somewhere. And she said, the girl was kind of shocked that she would even go there, because it didn't seem logical, but it does really when you break it down.
And yeah, Dave, this is so true for women. And I want to say something to the women business owners and leaders out there. Okay. How you dress inside determines how you're going to show up.
That is so true. And it's not just the women, it's the men. Did you ever hear of, it was a quote from Norman Vincent Peale. He was in, I'm going to say he was in, I think he was in Singapore. And his guy came out and had a new tattoo on. It said "loser." And he looked at the shop owner, and the shop owner says, "Before tattoo on arm, tattoo in brain."
Exactly.
So that's really what it's all about. Is we need to get those out of and change things around. Paul, this has really been awesome. I could spend the rest of the day talking with you, but we can't do that. So
if you get stuck for a guest, holler at me.
That's not a problem, because we'll probably pick another subject and beat that one. But Paul, this has really been interesting. I love getting past ourselves to move on to bigger and better places. How can our listeners get in touch with you? so that they can find out more about you, what you have to offer, whatever the case may be.
Okay. For your guests or for your listeners, I will be glad to give you a 15-point PDF on questions you ask to achieve a goal.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
Breaking down that goal to make sure that it is set. Okay? And for the first 5 people that take advantage of this and schedule a time with me, I want them to go to paulreedthis.com. My name, Paul Reed, ReedThis.com, and register, and I will put that, if they will fill out that form and get it back to me, I will do a 30-minute session with them, and we will set that goal in their unconscious mind so that all the events between now and the time in the future that happens will realign in the favor of that event happening.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
That's for the first 5.
Okay, yeah. So the first 5 guys, get that, and we'll put it in the show notes. It's Paul Reed This.
Yep, THIS.
.com. And
Yep.
So the first 5 of you that register, Paul's going to share with you and help you get through some of those things that that's holding you back. Paul, I really appreciate you being with us today. I really do.
Awesome. It's been
fun.
So much fun, Dave.
Okay, cool. Till the next time. Again, I want to thank you for joining us and investing your time with us today. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and if you did, go to iTunes and give us a shout-out. You can also go to our website, www.contractorsecretweapon.com, and check out today's episode and leave us a comment in the bottom of the page. And if you haven't gotten your 15 secret weapon strategies to getting higher-end customers, get it while you're at the website. Also, I want to thank again our sponsors for keeping this podcast alive, for your profit-making pleasure. And so go be profitable this week. Work smarter, not harder, and learn how to leverage your time and your knowledge so that you can be more profitable. Again, see you next week.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Contractors Secret Weapon Podcast with Dave Negri. We would love to hear your comments about this episode, so visit us online at www.contractorsecretweapon.com and let us hear your thoughts. If you are listening via iTunes, please leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive, the more other contractors will benefit from this show. Thank you, and see you next time here on the Contractors Secret Weapon Podcast.